Hey, Ryan. Oh, look at that.
Howdy. Hello from Esther Island.
Just hanging out, relaxing, huh?
Yeah, just driving around.
Like your shirt.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the hopefully the service is good. We're on the Starlink and the cell tower, so we'll see how it works.
Can turn the volume up, otherwise I won't be able to catch the recording. It's,
Is it recording?
yeah, it's recording. There's an audio recording and the recording of the Zoom video, so
So we still need.
it's on Powell.
Right.
Cause that thing,
Three.
that thing's the same as that.
3, but we need one more.
Mhm.
3 isn't more than half. By 5.
Yeah.
I thought we needed 9 or 10. Okay.
It'll be both.
And he wouldn't per se matter because it's his item.
Sure, but we have other
Yeah.
things. But
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, what time is it? We need to wait for, no, here's 6 o'clock. We're on. Yep. Let's go. Let's call the Harbor Commission regular meeting July 9th, 6 p.m. to order. Randy, you want to do the roll call?
Andy Craig,
Here.
Ryan Schutze,
Here, sort of.
Ken Jones, Ryan Krutoff, Garrett Collins.
Sure. All right, we have an agenda in front of us. Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the regular meeting agenda as written.
Second.
All right, approved and seconded. Anybody opposed? Hearing none. We have an agenda. Passes. We have minutes are going to be at the next regular meeting. We brings us to communication by visitors. Hello. You guys want to say anything about? No. Okay. Harbor Master's report. Sometime.
All right, the big ones. Let's see, we got a camera in for the drive down dock. I'm gonna have Lindsay's gonna install it, get power to it, so we can monitor that for any damage that's done down there. Because it happens.
The trailers are really chewing.
I know.
I hear them over there.
I had to talk with a couple of them, yeah.
So they're tearing up the dock, the planks.
Then I got an additional camera for the shipyard so we can cover more area down there. And then we had a grant to dispose of the rest of the steelhead. And then they called me after they sent me the approval letter and said all that money from DNR has been transferred to DOT. So we don't get it.
DOT has different priorities for the steelhead.
Yeah.
DNR.
Yeah. So yeah, so now that's all on hold, and I know of multiple harbors that had approval letters, and then the guy called up and goes, "I don't know what happened. We just looked at the budget." So hopefully next round it will happen. Just shipped out 2,750 gallons of antifreeze. Let's see. Our facility security plan went good with the Marine Exchange of Alaska. Aurora Tech set up the DDF cranes. We still have an issue with the 10,000 pound crane. So I talked to Aurora yesterday, talked to them directly and said, "Hey, there's an issue going on." So they got 18 of those units that they built, the 10 tons. So they're gonna go through them all, see if they can find an issue with those, but they said they will make it right. Come up here and make it right. So
Does that has something to do with the kind of the sound and the
it should
herkiness?
should not make that sound,
It's
which we all agree that should not make that sound. But the little one made the sound at the beginning and then it stopped. And so
Maybe
yeah, it's probably a pump issue. They believe it's a pump issue.
application.
And then the issue with sometimes it working and not working or locking up is, I believe, is there's a computer in the stainless steel box and it's got to connect to the sensors on that crane. And we believe that being in the stainless steel box is keeping it from connecting all the time.
Oh,
So we'll take that out, put it in maybe a fiberglass box or something like that, put it on top. So we'll take care of that after the season when people aren't trying to use everything down there. So, and then
we're busy.
Yeah, it has. A lot of people really like it. It's great down there. The crane will go on the 3-stage dock, the new crane, after the season's over, probably October, something like that. So,
Cause that one's still working.
yeah, still working, and we don't want to try to change them out in the middle. So, yeah, because it always will take longer than it should.
We got enough.
Yeah.
Right behind. Sorry.
Peterson Welding is making us guards for the oil filters on the cranes down there because they've been hit a few times with people swinging gear and everything like that. So yeah, we don't want to have oil leaks over the water or broken stuff. Waiting on a quote for the in harbor boat ramp dock. Wilson's, they've rebuilt one of those sections before for the north side, so they're gonna give me a quote. Talked to Matthews Lumber about it. They said be better off having it rebuilt because they're $45,000 a section plus shipping. So,
Wow.
32 hours of security detail with Samson barge offloads, gearbox oil changes in the travel lifts. We got our overhauled receiver and transmitter for the travel lift. We have 2 of them in case one goes bad. We got that one back and put that in. All the bushings in the north ramp, floating dock. Let's see. Travel lift, number 6 winch went down there over a week ago, doing the morning inspections, and there's oil coming out of number 6 winch out of the seals. So right now they're air freighting parts here, whole new winch and everything. So hopefully we'll be here Friday. Tech will be here Monday. Pull out the old one, put the new one in, stick around for the lift to put the copper star in, and then do our annual inspection and everything else. Placed one broken pedestal over the north side. Let's see. So the end of iFloat, the Challenger Parks, that pedestal got knocked completely off its base and broken, tore up one of the bull rails. So
Just scratch some paint on the bow.
yeah, didn't do much to the boat. They didn't even know. The comment I got was they tapped it. So we got a new pedestal ordered. Transpac Marine sent us a new piece of bull rail and the hardware and everything for free. Air shipped it here for free. So we'll take care of that after the season's over. Not everyone's out of the way. That's what Challenge admitted they'll take care of, so. New pedestal lights in North Harbor, brush in Northville, 1,100 gallons used oil delivered to the high school. Received 6,400 gallons so far this summer. Used oil. We just shipped out 4,500 gallons of used oil to Anchorage. And then we got the punch list. And things we're still waiting at. Like I said, install 3-stage crane. And then wireless meter reading system is still not working. Meter entry. So supposed to be next week. So,
Hey Tony, sorry I'm late. I'm here now.
yeah. Okay. Oh God. And that is it, unless you got questions.
Any questions for her on Harbor Master's report? Very not. I'll take us to new business. So we have land disposal option here. I guess we need a motion to get a discussion started.
That motion will
And
be
that is recommended in.
The motion will be an approval or affirmative.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm gonna declare conflict on this. I missed that part of the meeting. So I'm not gonna take part in this discussion, but I am available to answer questions. Sorry, I missed the public comment period where I could have talked about it, but yeah, if you guys want to move to suspend the rules and ask me to provide comment, I can, but I'm not gonna weigh in on this topic as a commissioner.
Roger, thanks, Ken. Okay, so I guess we're at a motion and there's a recommended motion.
Motion to approve and then discuss and then. Where you want to do it, but yeah.
Right. Well, we don't have a map.
Yeah,
We do
we
need
did do a motion
to discuss it.
and then you can decide
If
whatever.
nobody
once
moves
it's-
it, then
once
I
it's on
guess
the
we
table.
don't, we
Yeah.
move it
I
on,
like the idea that we get things on the table and then go from there.
or nobody seconds it.
Can I make a motion to
That's it.
discuss it?
We got a motion, a second,
Discuss it, sure.
okay, so. I guess. What? And the first thing that struck me was that we had a pretty good, I thought. Plan, although it didn't get funded, to deal with this. This area of our harbor. And. I still think that's a really good idea, and we didn't get the money last time, but. We didn't get the money the first time we've asked for a lot. You know, and it'd be, you could refine the idea and get it going, so I kind of myself feel that it's we haven't chased that enough, because I really think that would be a the best fit for that area. So anyways, I'll start off with that. It's just as far as I really liked how we had laid that out and reimagining the space down there and making it bigger crane over there, the bulkhead, a lot more. Yeah, anyways, and less of what we had there, which wasn't a perfect fit for the science center. I think they laid their new facility. But as far as a basin, it's so expensive to put in moorage that we need to dredge and utilize as much as we can. So I really like removing the building, dredging, and developing that corner. And then Kenny brings up really good points of the sale versus the lease, because I can see we don't have the money doing some sort of short-term lease, but you don't want to put a bunch of money into something if you're just leasing it, and in 3 years they say, hey, we got the money to do what we wanted, you can move your stuff. So I definitely understand that thing, but at that point he discusses it well in his proposal. Very thorough proposal, by the way, Ken. Didn't have any problems imagining what you were going to do or how it would work out, and I think it would. Work out. As far as being able to do that stuff there. But go ahead, Brian.
I'll second what Andy's saying there. I think this, with such a small harbor base, and I think it's really important to focus on the harbor users as a whole. And I know a noble plan, you know, it just seems like it would be a disservice to the majority of harbor users, especially at such a bottleneck there. And I think that the space could be much better used. And like Andy said, we might not have got the money last time, but you know, we're not going to stop with that and just take that as it was. So I think that we're better off redoubling our efforts and trying to secure funding for something that would be a better fit for the harbor users as a whole. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I would also agree with both of you guys that I think I would like to see it utilized for something, but I think selling it it'd be hard to make something as big as Ken's idea come to fruition without purchasing it and owning it because of the amount of investment in it. But in the end, I just feel like if we were to come up with the money to see our that plan, I forget what it was called, but making that into a sheet pile bulkhead there and with the crane and possibly a fuel dock and stuff in the harbor, I think that would benefit a lot more of the community. I could see leasing the building for something that was where there was less investment required would be a more suitable option right now. on the leaser's part. Just because in case the funding did become available, that's a pretty good chunk of land right there. And the community was very adamant about that parcel where the coffee stand is at too, about that being kept available for public space too. And it's kind of a similar, right? It's adjacent to it. It's like you said, there's limited space around the harbor there that it'd just be unfortunate to have it not available if the funding was to all of a sudden be available.
Anybody else who wants to have any comments? No.
No,
No.
I don't know, I mean,
It's
same
there.
thing, yeah, it's a great idea. I don't know if it's ultimately the best use of this space.
I don't see, I mean, harbors are expensive to build. I see. Right now with our new rebuild, we have some empty slips, but they're gonna go away. I mean, there's not, Valdez is now full up. I'm pretty sure they had a couple when like last year when I was there, and I heard somebody say they tried to get into Valdez, couldn't, and with like a 45-foot boat or not a permanent slip anyways. So I just see it as, I mean, who knows when we're gonna have to dig another basin, but we gotta do everything we can with this one because they're very expensive. Yeah. Okay. Any additional discussion? I guess I don't wanna. I'll have a chance if we're gonna call the question. We should probably do a roll call vote. Just to go on record.
Okay, the vote would be to approve or.
Right,
Or
it the motion as Ryan's pretty much read it right off from here, so it's I'll reread the motion. I move to recommend City Council approve the proposal from Serenity Charters, Serenity Lodge to lease or purchase Lot 2, Block 7A Tidewater Development Park. So that is the motion. If we're
Question.
hold the question,
Andy Craig,
no.
Ryan Schutze,
No.
Mike Krutoff,
No,
Garrett Collins,
No.
So that takes us to miscellaneous business. We didn't put anything in that category at the start. And then to audience participation.
Yeah, I'd like to take a moment, I guess. So I actually agree with you guys on a lot of it. I pushed for that last plan, that PIDP plan, quite a bit, and pushed for the demolition of that structure quite a bit as well. And I totally agree. In a perfect world where we had all the money and all the funds, we could dredge that corner and do that project. But unfortunately, City Council has decided to not even apply for that anymore. They've taken it off the city's capital improvements projects list and are going a different direction. The current manager has said that they want to pursue funding for stormwater and sewer and water upgrades over harbor upgrades. Councilmember Rainey is on record saying that the harbor's already gotten enough. We need to focus on the other needs of the city. That was a paraphrase, but that was at one of my last city council meetings that I was a sitting council member. Now I'm no longer on the council. I'm no longer able to push for harbor improvements. And I believe that that building is just going to sit there for decades until somebody wants to push for it. So I put this proposal in because I'm tired of seeing our town and our community just rot away from people letting buildings sit vacant. I just bought another one. I just bought Gingerbread House. It's been sitting vacant for a decade because Trident just let it sit there and rot away. I bought the building on Main Street. It was vacant, sitting there rotting away. And I'm just going around town making offers on every old historic building that's just sitting there vacant, so I can try to keep Cordova and fix it up and do something that actually benefits the community. So this is one idea on how I can return this property to a usable state. and generate revenue for our community. Commercial fishing hasn't been super hot. I've been thinking about selling one of my boats and doing something else. My adventure company's been pretty good. It's kind of fun. It's a nice change of pace. I've been in commercial fishing for the last 20 years, and it's kind of nice to do something different. So I'm looking at very seriously maybe not seining in the future. Maybe I'll go gillnet, and then in July and August go be a charter guy. So I like doing the direct marketing thing. I might set up one of my seine boats as a processing platform like what Buck does on the Temptation. I felt like getting a Connex right there on the dock with a crane. I could unload myself, kind of do what like Mike Weber's doing, where he direct markets every fish he catches, and that was what I was looking to do, and I thought it was a good fit. It was a way we can save a historic building, keep it in our waterfront, and it doesn't really take away from anything that any other harbor user is doing right now. That grid is barely used. It's in disrepair. It's a huge liability to the city. The estimates are over $3 million for remediation. Right now you have a council who's not willing to even apply for the grant to do the other projects. So that's why I put it in, and I appreciate everybody taking the time to consider it.
Well, thanks for a very complete proposal. And I was reading through, I realized some time went into that. And I do understand. And I think it's important that we have a proposal like that was considered, and the reasons are out there why it wasn't taken, so that we can figure out the direction we're going. And of course, our opinion will just go into what planning, city council and stuff like that. So it's just, but yeah. And I do think that corner and the fuel dock, I mean, really that vision that we all worked on for so many hours, I think might not be the right time, but a couple of years things could be different.
Yeah, my hope is, even if my proposal wasn't accepted, that maybe I could play a little 4D chess and get the current council to think about, oh, hey, maybe we should still pursue that project. So either way, I don't have any hard feelings either way. I would love to see a floating fuel dock in the harbor. I pushed for that for years and still believe that would be a great use of the space. And but I also just hate to see it sit empty for the next decade and nobody does anything. So maybe this will light some feet on fire to put another PIDP in next year. So thanks.
Yeah. All right. Any other audience participation? See. Nope.
Nope.
Oh, all good. All right. That brings us to commission comments, next meeting agenda items. We have a list going for next meeting.
We have a list of things, but I'll never remember them all. And it's nice to be reminded of at least a few of them every time. So there was one that Ryan brought up before, some about, and I tried to find, I thought I had my notes somewhere about sensors on lights or something.
It was originally like a motion sensing light on something, like because I was talking about the launch down there in the harbor, and that was
okay
in the winter time, but he commented on having a motion sensor on it, so it's not on 24 hours a day, just because those are, the new harbor is nice with the how you
everything's down.
It's not glowing. I
Yeah.
can see it from my house out White Shed.
And if not motion sensors, at least a timer, as I've seen like basketball courts in the city or whatever will have that. So it's not, when somebody kicks it on, it's not on all night. Just motion sensors, that could be almost more annoying. So if it takes some active turning it on, and then it goes off after a while, that could be another option. And probably easier than a motion light. A sheet of tin blowing by and one of the 100-mile-an-hour gusts will kick it off probably.
How about the pedestals? Do we have anything further on the pedestals in the shipyard? Is that?
Yeah, we went through them all. We did an inspection on everything worked, but we are replacing some of the breakers because they're old.
Yeah.
And the blacked out ones so we are replacing them. But we went through everything, we tested it worked. But yeah, some outlets need to be changed for sure. They're blackened out and everything. Some heat to them. So, but yeah.
Yeah, because I know
What about maybe looking into finding someone in town or locally in Alaska that can work on the travel lift? Like the winch is just rebuilt and we have the parts, because I know we keep a lot of parts in hand, right?
Yeah,
Like this one, she said we're sending up all new winch,
Mhm.
total replacement. It's not rebuildable.
they're gonna rebuild the one that they take off. But there's not enough time. I mean, it could take 3 days or 2 weeks to rebuild.
Right.
So they'll take that one back with them. And
I
send it
know
back
it
to
used
us.
to be like Jerry would show up and
Yeah,
grab the winch and
Yeah.
rebuild it in a couple days,
yeah,
and then the lift was done. Whereas now we're like weeks and weeks
Yeah.
waiting to have our lift back in operation.
Is it like a travel lift certified technician that does?
well,
it, or
their
is it-
parts are, but I mean, you're not wrong, that Jerry has
Anyone
rebuilt
can
it.
work on it.
Yeah, you know, we kind of volunteer that availability. Calvin won't
Possibly.
touch it.
He doesn't want to.
No.
They're gonna lose, I mean, there's a big gap that Jerry left. And
Yeah,
there's-
I mean,
It's
range
to be
of
left
services,
empty though. There's
But there's nobody stepping in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Maybe
necessarily have to be local though.
I mean,
It's like
from what I know,
like zero. It's like,
yeah, I mean, it'd be
Jerry
great.
can't do it, so only travel lift can do it. There's probably
Cause I know when we called about it, they were like, well, all our techs are out. We got Alaska, we got techs in Alaska right now, we got them in Washington. And that's, I mean, that's what the people who would call it's a specialty piece of equipment. So I mean, it would be great. I agree. We know of someone that can.
it's a specialty piece of equipment, but it's just basic
A hydraulic winch? Yeah.
functions. It's not a.
Well, the winch is from Italy.
We don't have to fly someone from Italy just to fix it, right?
I know.
Can't be that.
Yeah.
Be the answer for
I tried
us.
to get Jerry before we got off there. He would. He didn't just say no.
Just some food for thought.
Yep.
I guess.
Yes, no, I agree. It would be great to have.
Maybe if we could try to figure out if there is other options besides just travel lift.
It's down at the electric, the power plant. We've been using this outfit out of Wasilla called Alaska Road Tech. They used to do a lot of slope work. It's a machine shop, but they're really fast. If we
Yeah.
if we need a fast turnaround, they've been really good. And their stuff is impeccably rebuilt. It's
The hydraulics.
hydraulics. They do an L-type Alaska Road Tech. It's ROTEQ. But they're kind of phasing out of the slope work and trying to get into more of the utilities and hydraulic stuff. But there's yeah. They've been really good for quick turnaround stuff for us. But
No.
Yeah.
stuff done.
It's not a first time I've ever
Yeah.
You kind of hate boxing stuff up and sending it out. You're like, I need to know somebody.
Yeah, well, getting this winch sent to us air freighted is $4,000, so.
Wow.
Can't get his carry on.
It's a little 400 pounds, so.
But yeah.
Just getting to that point was a bit difficult.
Okay, I'm just thinking of stuff that routinely comes up that we talk about. I was kind of curious what happened. It's good to hear changes out there.
I have a comment, I guess, or question on the that big crane. Is there, I don't know, the difficulty of rerouting, if anybody has had an issue with the visibility of that and using it to land my fish pump on, it's kind of a not ideal. And I'd say you could just say signals, a little boom to the left, but that's obviously not an option because of the noise. So is there a way to reconfigure that control station, or am I just having a problem that nobody else does?
Oh, you're
No,
not the
it's-
only
yeah,
one.
you're not-
I've heard that a bunch.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I do think once it's quiet, it'll be a lot easier, but we
Okay.
looked at it, it's kind of the safest place for it where no one's gonna back into it. Hit it with a load, cause I mean, they knocked the oil filters off 3 times now. They've dented the motor cover on the little one. What else? There was something else they hit the other day, and it's like, we kind of looked at it as the best.
Should we think about building a railing?
We
around it?
actually, yeah, we're talking to Peterson's about something around it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw Jesse down there.
Yeah.
Tape measure trying to figure out how he's gonna protect that stuff.
Yeah, but you're not the only one I've heard that, and with the noise, it definitely is, it's impossible to, look around and wait for a hand
But
signal.
it's that pitch that just about
Yeah.
drives you.
Yeah.
All the crew is nervous. You're like, turn that
Well,
thing
yeah,
off.
we did talk to Peterson, they're coming up with something to put around it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to see. It's
Mhm.
kind of, it seems like it's right in the wrong spot, but
Yeah, the pedestal, we made that smaller, put a bigger hole through
put up some mirrors.
it. Years, yeah.
We
Question
still
regarding
thinking about doing a
big crane.
user card for that too, or anything? How many boats have been picked up and launched? I know of 3.
Yeah.
One that I was able to deter, but
Yeah, I would like
okay,
to.
people are allowed to just pick up their skiff and put them on deck with that, or put them in the water and stuff.
I mean, we did
It's rated for it. I mean, most of the skiffs, no
But
problem.
yeah, there are some that I'm pretty worried about. And that's my worry, someone will want to. Yeah.
But would it just tap out?
It
if
should,
the
yeah,
over-
it's got overload sensors and everything on it. It's supposed
But
to.
then it shouldn't be making that much noise.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, it should work perfectly every time. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's yeah, I used to watch people do stuff, double blocking the 1500 so they could get heavier things up. You're like, oh, it's really that whole system there is kind of derated for a reason, But
On the note of the big crane, is there any way we could have 3-stage dock improvements on a future agenda for discussion? And then also, I'm curious, whatever happened with that travel lift trailer sale? I know that's going to go back into our harbor reserve.
so we put it out 40 days on the first time, just in general, just didn't get real crazy with it to see what we could do, and then we put it out on publicsurplus.com or whatever for 30 days. We got one bid of $51,000. I wasn't willing to let it go for that. But
No.
Travelist called me the other day and they are writing up a contract for one of their clients for that. And they're gonna throw a price at them and see if they'll accept it.
Oh, that's good.
Travelers.
So forgot to mention that part, but yes.
Yeah, I didn't
But
see it
yeah,
on
what
the
I was
travel
hoping it.
news website.
No, it's not on there. They're not putting it on. They called me from the plant and they had a client that was getting a new travel. So they wanted a 60-ton transporter.
So one
Is that
thing
feature?
that I was hoping is if we can get that money back in the harbor reserve, maybe we can discuss
Mhm.
getting some 3-stage dock improvements, and if possible, what would be nice. And I mean, you can use that tier 2 state grant for 50-50 matching. So if we can get like 250 grand out of that transporter sale, maybe we take that, use it as match towards a 3-stage dock rebuild. And if we can get it engineered, maybe we can put the big crane on the 3-stage and put our other little crane on the drive down. So that way we don't have to worry about people doing the boat launching off the drive down and stuff like that. And also just makes it more usable. Like I can't use that crane to load my bait shed, or a bunch of large tender equipment might be hard, or wave walls and stuff, because you got the getting the trailers down the dock, and then the bridge has a upper support, so you can't like drive a shed down there, even though the sheds don't weigh as much as a skiff. But it would be a lot nicer from a fleet perspective if we had that big crane on the 3-stage, I think. But we couldn't put it on there because the dock isn't engineered or certified or whatever. There's reasons why we didn't do that, and I'm just curious if we do a rebuild project, if we can get it up to snuff to support the bigger crane. I'm not sure.
It would also give you the option, if you pick your tide, to have more distance, because it's pretty stubby, and as something big and bulky, you can't reach very far if you got any height to it. So it's the 3-stage would probably be a better fit.
Can I, as a 86-foot vessel owner, it would not be a better fit for us.
Okay.
The advantage, you'd have to be lined up to pick off the bigger one and land on the lower one, because with no squirt on that crane, it doesn't matter if you're lifting up, you still got to get it over the bull rail. That's the issue. I was putting my tender pump on, drove it down the dock, and used the big crane for that. And just getting it over my rail was hard because it doesn't lift up. The advantage of having it on the drive down float is you're not having something 20 feet in the air, which is a possible safety concern with straps. But getting a bait shut off is going to be, you're going to have to use 2 of those stages on a 3-stage for one. I think it's going to be problematic. Myself, being a larger vessel owner, I think that having it out on the T-dock would be more useful to a wider variety of boats. But that, once again, that also has issues out there right now. But I'm with Ken that it might be better used someplace else. But the T-dock or the 3-stage dock, I'm sorry, is still a smaller boat.
Yeah,
scenario.
it's pretty tight. Yeah. No, that's good input. Yeah. And just kind of for what's a tender pump weigh?
My pump is 2,600 pounds, so a little bit more than what one of the smaller
Just more
cranes.
than the next
Yeah.
size crane. Okay. Gotcha.
That's really good feedback, Ryan. I didn't consider the length restrictions of the 3-stage. Thanks for that.
And is that a 3-stage piling that's tied up?
No, we haven't figured out where it came from yet.
Somebody
Yeah.
just took a chunk of piling and tied it up there.
We just looked around, we're gonna go out on the boat and look in the faces of the big docks tomorrow. And look around, I don't know, yeah.
Cause I was kind of wondering how long it was, if it was gonna jam up when the
Yeah,
tide
we're gonna
went
pull it
down
up,
or something.
but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's confused.
Yeah, we didn't know where it came from either.
Okay, well, some feedback there. Anybody have any additional things to add or bring up as we target, send Tony agenda items as you think of them?
How many at a time?
2, Ken.
Okay, I'll keep it at 2.
Cause I will forget when you send your list of 20. Yeah, send me 2 before the meeting or send them to each other and see what we wanna put on there, and that makes it easier, so we don't have a ton, but we have something.
Okay,
But, yeah, okay.
guess we need one more motion.
Can I move to adjourn?
Second.
Seconded. We're adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for phoning in. All right.